don't know what you have to do without God. Oh. Just ask your neighbor, waiting I for do without God. Now ask somebody, waiting I for do without God. Imagine that Jesus didn't die. Aha. You. Now you, only you. Now you, I know. With no roof, and without you, I go be like bride where no got any groom. And without you, if I don't buy, I go turn mumu. I can't live, I can't be without you. I can't sleep, can't wake without you. I can't be, I can't live without you. I cannot sleep, cannot wake without you. Because everything. Simple. There you go. Now only you. Can we try it? Come on, let's go. Say. Biko. Now only you. Come on, we're doing well this morning. Baba, now you one more time. Baba. Biko. I know that's nobody else. Nobody else. Mansion with no roof, and without you, I go be like bride when no got any groom. And without you, if I don't buy, I go turn mumu. I can't live, I can't be without you. I can't sleep, can't wake without you. I cannot be, cannot live without you. I know if sleep, no believe without you. Because everything. Now you. Anything I do, now you. Even when I want enjoy, now you. When I want
from the United Arab Emirates. In other parts of the world, I know it's afternoon, maybe in the Americas, in other parts of the world, it's in the afternoon or morning. In Ghana and other parts of the world, like I said, it's morning, afternoon, and evening, depending on wherever you are. A very good evening here, United Arab Emirates. Today, indeed, is going to be a wonderful day. It's a book launch, a special edition. Usually, we were actually expecting an auditorium-filled place, but definitely we are not in our normal times. You can bear with me. We are in our COVID times, and things have actually changed. So we actually have to suit the status quo. We have to, be in that situation as well. That's why we are all here with Zoom. I believe a lot of people are joining us and watching us from this wonderful book launch. We have with us Apostle Chris Gaba and the wife. They have actually 13 books. This is amazing. 13, 12 from Apostle Chris Gaba, and to put the icing on the cake, we have one from the wife. It's going to be wonderful. We are extremely excited to have you, and we are going to go straight to the point to ask him loads of questions as to how everything came to being. A very good evening to you.
Good evening. Good evening.
Wow. A very good evening to you, Mommy. Wow, this is awesome. 13 books.
Yeah.
Before I ask you about how it all began, I think we need to. I know lots of people know you. Those who are watching us know you. I know you. Lots of us know you. But it will be very prudent if you tell us a little bit about yourself, an insight.
Okay.
Yes, Apostle Chris Gaba.
Okay. Thank you very much. We are so blessed and also so honored to bring this book launch to our audience who are watching us. Thank you so much. Basically, I'm not going to go too much deep into who Apostle Chris Gaba is, but basically, Apostle Chris Gaba is, first of all, a servant of God. I'm called by God to do God's work, which is my primary call. My secondary call, which is being a diplomat and serving my country, is also one of my passions, of defending my country wherever I find myself. But as I said earlier, my primary call is to be a man of God and to be a servant of God. So Apostle Chris Gaba basically went to Feeding Mission School in Ghana, with my primary days. Then graduated and went to secondary school in St. Margaret Mary. From St. Margaret Mary, I went to University of Ghana, where I studied business administration. In between the period I did administration, I also did some studies on computer engineering and all that. Some of the softwares, how to do programming and all that. Then, I got a job in the foreign ministry, where I currently still serve, and did my master's after my degree. As I speak right now, I am still with the Foreign Affairs. I'm still a pastor. In the UAE, we have about 2 branches, one in Dubai and one also in the Abu Dhabi. So basically, if I want to say something small about Apostle Chris Gaba, I would say that this is just a little. I pastor a church in Abu Dhabi here, as I told you, and also in Ghana. In Ghana we have several branches, several churches, even before I came to the United Arab Emirates. So basically, that is just a little to say about Apostle Chris Gaba. Just a little. Currently, I'm pursuing a postgraduate in theology. So basically, that is just a little to say about Apostle Chris Gaba. Yeah.
Wow. It's a Herculean task, isn't it?
Yeah, very Herculean.
Wow. So, I will come to you. Mommy, well, I cannot only be asking Daddy all the questions. I think I have to come to you as well. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, I'm I'm the wife of Pastor Chris.
You are blessed.
I'm the wife of Pastor Chris Gaba.
That's great.
And that's
I can see mommy is that shy type. I mean, I understand, we understand. And so we're going to go easy with you. And, you know, I can see, you know, to be able to write these number of books, you have to have some kind of unction, some kind of blessed, gifts.
Yeah.
Because writing a book, you know, once upon a time, back in the those days, that was when books were written and all that. But we are now in the computer age, and lots of books are not written and all that. Coupled with the lots of works that you are doing, how are you able to do that? To write books, to sit down, have time for your family, and write books and all that. How are you able to merge all and then come out with all these?
Okay. One of the things I didn't mention was that prior to the 13 books, I've already written 40 books. But most of the books I write has to do with what I do and the experiences I've gathered over the years.
Okay.
Most of the books are very practical books that has to do what I do daily. You understand? For instance, the ones on church leadership, my experience as a pastor for more than a decade, and the things I've learned through painful experiences and other things that I've gathered these resources to, share. Sometimes also in a particular season, God can speak to me and tell me, listen, write this book. I need to educate people. I need to empower people. I need to talk to people and all that. So, to be very sincere, it's very tiring. But one thing about God is that if God calls, He equips you. He gives you the ability to be able to function in that calling. Because to be very sincere, as you said earlier, there is nothing you can do if God has not given you that grace. There's nothing on this planet you can do, except God has called you to it. If God hasn't called you, you can't do it. And so, some of the books, as you said, were not just books that I wrote maybe just a few months or a few weeks. Some of them were books I wrote 5 years ago, some 4 years ago, some 3. But at the period, God did not give me the permission or create the opportunity for me to release them. You understand? Because back in Ghana, I write a lot, but because I left Ghana, work and other things, I couldn't get much time to write like I used to in Ghana and all that. So I believe that I will not say it's easy, but it comes out of experience. The things I've learned. For instance, one of the books which I've written has to do with the church in Nation Building. It has to do with my experience in the UAE and how I saw how churches have been done here, which I think that when it's emulated back home, it can help to shape church growth and other things. So basically, I must tell you, most of the books comes from well of experience, pain, and other things that made me, things that some of them I experienced them firsthand, that made me to write some of these books.
This is too much to take, actually. It's so much. Talking about the experience in the UAE, you and I are here. You and I know the life that we live here in the UAE, even though it's quite flexible and all that. We are not in Christian vicinity. So, how it's serious. It's serious how you are able to merge diplomatic work and the background and the ambience and everything. How are you able to do that? I know that there's a God factor, but God has given us that kind of human, will to be able to work and all that. As the will that He gave you, how are you able to display all that?
Well, as I said earlier, for instance, if you look at my book on money, sex, and power, it's one of the things when I came to the UAE, Lord, about. You understand? Because I saw some few things and all that. Now, if you look at the UAE, a typical example of how they do churches here. In the UAE, you cannot just come and say you are establishing a church in the UAE. The process that you need to go through in order to be able to register a church I mean, when we are going through that process, and to be very frank with you, I was really impressed. I was impressed. Let me give you a typical example, which I enshrined in the book. If you look at Ghana, where we come from, you will see a lot of things going on in the church. You understand? Where the church has become a laughing stock.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? Now, in the UAE, do you know that in the UAE you can't be a pastor if you don't hold a first degree?
Yeah.
You can't be. It's a must. And you don't just have a first degree in mathematics. No. You need to have a first degree in theology to be able to be a pastor in the UAE. Now, in the UAE, they have an enclave. You understand?
That's right.
And within the enclave, the only churches that the United Arab Emirates in Abu Dhabi recognizes is 18 churches. You understand?
That's right.
So all the other churches that we want to engage or whatever, you need to submit under the 18 churches.
Wow.
And the 18 churches are supposed to audit even the sermon you preach. Because you can't look at some of the sermons people preach on radio, television. Instead of preaching, they insult and attack and other things. Before you mount the pulpit, 3 days to your sermon, you have to send it to your presiding bishop, who is in charge of the church that you have submitted, to go through your sermons to be sure that what are you teaching, what are you feeding the people. You understand what I'm saying? Then secondly, the accounting processes, the processes so far as the accounting is concerned. You understand? Right. You have to submit to the accounting processes, and the auditing has to go on, procurement, everything to the latter.
That's right.
You see, and when I was writing the book on nation building, one of the things that occurred to me is that if the church is involved in nation building, then there are systems that needs to be put in place. When those systems are put in place, some of the excesses, so far as the church is concerned in Ghana, most of them will be kept. Do you understand?
Very well.
It will be kept. And so that's what I'm saying, that some of the books, they come out of painful experiences. Things I have been through, things I have seen myself. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, for instance, if you look at the ones on leadership, the pastor and counseling, the pastor and counseling alone deals with how, as a pastor, to counsel your church members, right from the period of courtship to even pre-marriage, post-marriage, and the ability to be able to sustain the marriage. Do you understand? The processes and all that. So you can pick the book on the pastor and counseling, and you can be able to counsel your church members, whoever you are, whether you're a pastor, whatever. You can use it to counsel. Even couples can read it to enhance their marriage and all that. If you look at the ones on leadership, I've been a pastor for more than 2 decades. And one of the things, one day the Lord began to speak to me about frustrating the grace of God. Frustrating the grace of God. And I was thinking, what does it mean to frustrate the grace of God? Frustrating the grace of God. Then it occurred to me that all of us sitting here, we carry grace. You carry grace, I carry grace. Grace is made abound for all of us. But you see, one thing about grace is that, do you say that because you have grace, so you drive at 170, 180, you kill yourself?
That's right.
Now, grace can be made available to all of us. But if you don't put the right systems in place, which I felt as a pastor for 10 years, 20 years, maybe we dwell too much on the spiritual, that maybe we frustrated the grace of God so much that we didn't put the necessary structures and systems in place to check things. So upon reflection and other things, I wrote some of these books on leadership. You understand? That it is important that when you are a pastor, you are doing church, put systems in place. No matter, you may be anointed, you may carry grace, you may carry power, you may even raise the dead. If you don't put systems in place, you understand? Right. Because you see, one thing about leadership is that you are the leader. People follow leaders. And when people are following leaders, they want you to tell them where you are taking them. Okay. Even at the department level. So the vision, you see, you have a vision, you have a mission. Now, the problem of leadership is the inability to not to be able to communicate well the vision to the people. So the people don't really understand where you are taking them. Wow. But when you put the systems in place and you are able to communicate the vision, the systems that are put in place work, and the whole organization just falls in place and functions normally. I don't know whether I'm making sense. Very well. So therefore, if you look at the book on why small churches don't grow, you look at the book on the leadership manual, volume 1, volume 2, most of those books deal with issues of leadership. That's right. Where the Lord led me to look at all the other over 10 departments in the church, right from children's department, right from the technical department, the choir. What are the vision? Are you just establishing a choir for the sake of establishing a choir? Are you establishing the technical department just for the sake? There must be a vision, there must be a plan, there must be systems put in place to check things, the accounts department, other things. All of these things, as I said, were experiences, so they are not just theory. There are things that over the years I have learned from my mistakes, I've learned from them, and I've put them in books. That you're a young pastor, you're a man of God coming up. No matter how you pray fast, you may be anointed spiritual, but put systems in place. You understand? Because you see, one thing you need to understand is that if you want the church to grow, you need to run it like an organization. I mean, you understand what I'm saying? You need to run like an organization. And in running it as an organization, that is where you have to communicate the vision to the people. And communicate the vision to the people does not only rest at the top level. You understand? It must even transcend to the departments. Everyone working in every department must know what the vision of that department is. What is the vision of the children's department? That's right. Because it's the vision and the mission of the department that makes you to select the kind of people that must work there. There must be a job, job specification for who is a children's department teacher, who must join a choir, who must be in the technical department, who must be in the account department. Are you understanding what I'm saying? Very well. So all these things are. Then, if you look at the volume, the leadership manual, volume 1 and 2, in that one, I looked at the issue of the main pillars of the church. There are 3 main pillars of every church that holds the church. Okay. The women's ministry, the men's ministry, and the youth. Wow. You understand? Yeah. Now, in the leadership manual, it equips you, it helps any pastor who is starting a church. How do I start a women's ministry? How do I help my wife to start a women's ministry? How do I start the men's ministry? How do I start the youth ministry? Because these are the main pillars that hold the church. And all the departments within the church fall within these 3 umbrellas. Okay. You understand? For the church to function and for the church to work. That's right. Now, if these 3 pillars are not working in your church is not going anywhere.
So it basically means these are the reasons why churches are unable to function.
Right. Because you need these 3 pillars to be working. Because all the other, the children's department, technical department, the choir, the protocol department, the ushering department, most of the, about 10 to 11, 12 departments, all of them fall under the umbrella of these 3 pillars. I see. You understand? Right. Then in the leadership manual 1, it also talks about how, I give instances of how you can officiate marriages, funerals, weddings, other things are all enshrined in the leadership manual 1. Then also when you come to the devotional and the discipleship manual, the devotional, one of the things I noticed about leadership is that people, if you're a leader, people follow you.
That's true.
You understand? They follow. Now, if people are not following you, it means that you are not a leader. I don't know whether you get it. If people are not following you, are not a leader. So therefore, the discipleship manual is to help any child of God who wants to grow and mature. So it has all the, from 1st January to December. You want to do your personal meditation, you want to wait on the Lord, you want to read the scripture. It gives every topic on practical issues that you can relate with as a child of God and stand on it and pray before you go out. Now, it has been tailored also in a way so that by the time you finish to 365 days, you will have read the entire Bible.
Wow. I get you. Quick one. I think we are not being fair to Mommy.
Yes.
Mommy, I just want to ask you briefly, how has marriage and, getting married to a man of God been? I'm asking this from this perspective. People have this mindset that marrying a man of God is very boring. Looking at the books that you write, is it the fact that that's all you do, write books in the house? And all? Is it that boring as people make it seem?
No, not at all.
I see.
Not at all.
I see.
I believe it's a calling.
Wow.
It's a calling. And if you see what is going on, the reason why many pastors' wives are fighting their husband and also pastors are divorcing is that I believe that we the women we don't have understanding.
That's right.
If you have understanding, when God gives you something, you'll be able to hold it very well.
That's true.
And it's also based on prayer. I believe it's prayer that has kept me and my husband.
Wow. Because if you look at the scenario, let me use our country where we are coming from, Ghana, as a scenario. There are so many instances. It became a norm on social media that today you hear this pastor having issue with the wife, bringing it, soaking their dirty linens in public on social media and all that. And you ask yourself, are they really, is it the men who are not doing their things right, or they don't marry the right women, or what? So from your perspective, marrying a man of God of this caliber, what do you bring on the table?
For me, what I do most for my husband, because I believe God brought us together.
That's right.
For me to help him to get to where God wants him
That's
to be.
true. That's
So I do pray for him. That's the only secret me I can tell. I pray for him. And also, if you're a pastor's wife, always you have to seek the face of God all the time. For God to give you the wisdom and the understanding for you to be able to help your husband to get to where he wants him to get to.
That's right.
And I believe if you do that, when you help your husband to get to where God has planned for him, as the word of God said, you find your calling inside. So me, basically, I do pray for my husband.
That's great.
And for now, I'm not doing anything. I'm at home. I pray for him. I take all of the children. Also help him in the ministry. Because sometimes when it comes to the ministry, it's not easy.
It's true.
Human being is very difficult.
It is.
Very, very
It
difficult.
really is, yes.
So sometimes I'm there to comfort him.
Wow, I
I'm there
see.
to comfort him.
Yes.
And also praying for him. So doing that, and God has been revealing things to me. And I want to tell every woman watching me that when you pray all the time for your husband, you become like the prophetess of the home. God will speak to you.
That's right.
And God will direct you.
That's right.
So every woman should know that marriage is not about the wedding, it's not about the planning.
The flamboyant lifestyle.
Yes. It's calling. It's a calling. And after all that, you have to pray. Many people lack prayer in their relationship. They don't pray. No, you don't pray. And if your husband is fall there and you don't pray for him, anything can happen to him. So I believe that if you're a woman and God has given you a pastor to marry, it's a great honor. and it's a privilege, you know. So you have to do your best to help him to help him to also get to where God wants him to be.
That's right. I mean, a word is enough for the wise. You've heard it all. I believe most of the things that they are saying are in their books that they've written. Most of them. I mean, it's only when God gives you that kind of unction to be able to sustain your marriage and then make it work, as she said. It's not only marrying a pastor's wife. It's a daily routine. You have to pray, make things happen through molding it the way you want it to be molded. So I appreciate it. We'll be coming to your books, what you wrote, especially because yours is actually the icing on the cake. So we'll come to that. So Rev, I want us to tackle your books one after the other. So I'm actually going to make a random pick, and then you just give us a synopsis basically about the book, and then we move on to the next because time is indeed not on our side. So I'm going to start with I think this is small churches remain small.
Yeah, why small churches?
Why small churches remain small? Wow. Wow. So a little.
That's what
inspired.
Yes. Why most churches are small churches. When we're talking about the definition of small churches, what we are saying is churches that don't grow beyond 50. That's what the definition of a small church. Okay. In some other definitions, they say some even go to 100. So if your church doesn't go beyond 50, 100, it's seen as a small church. Okay. When it goes beyond 100 plus, then it's being seen as a big, then mega, then very mega church and all that. Now, there is a reason why.
Man of God, I wouldn't want you to talk much because people have to buy the book. Get the book for themselves and then have a feel of it.
Yes.
Because so a little of it, because we have a lot of them here. So
So the systems that first what I did was to tackle why they don't grow and what you can do to make it grow. So why the churches don't grow and what you can do to make it grow.
Okay. Yes. All right. Okay, so I'm picking the next one. I see the pastor and counseling.
Yes.
Okay.
So this is to help pastors and married couples. It has to do with counseling, basically marriage counseling, psychological counseling, whatever counseling that a pastor gives to his church members.
Okay.
Yeah. So with this manual, you can carry it anywhere. Any church member comes to you, you can use it to counsel.
Okay. So it's not basically about sorcery, magic, necromancy, and all that.
Not
it's
at all.
Counseling.
Counseling.
So,
how to counsel.
Some people believe. Where we are coming from, Ghana, some people believe in sorcery before they go to church. Pray for me. They want to see magic. Quote and unquote, before they go to church and all that. So, like you're saying, it's basically counseling.
Yes, counseling.
Things that you can do and things that you're not supposed to do in as far as your marriage and life is concerned.
Yes. Even couples can get it for themselves. It's not necessarily for pastors, but couples can get it, read it. It enhances their marriage. Because there were very practical things in them, which I think will really help couples.
I see one book here. I wouldn't want to pick it, but I see very revealing: money, sex, and power.
Yes, these are the three things that gives any person power. You understand? Now, your ability to manage money well. Money is good. There are two gods in this world. One is money, and God Himself first, and money. So you can't serve both. And so your ability to have, control over money and control over sex, because sex is also very powerful. Sex can control. Sex can bring you down. So money, sex, then power. Power has to do with when you have money, when you have sex, then you have the power. You understand? Positions and all that. Now, somebody is very humble until the person is promoted.
That's right.
You understand? Until the person is big or has money and has control to, he can have any woman he wants. How do you master it so that it doesn't control you and destroy you?
Wow.
And if you look at the Bible and any other great man, these are the three things that have destroyed them.
Wow.
Money, sex, and power. How do you manage them as a good steward?
You don't need to be told. You need to grab your copy. Trust me, because this I'm sure I'm going to get mine, because nobody needs to tell you that this is going to be that book that we are actually yearning to read. And then we have another one too. I see the discipleship manual and devotional.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yes. This one is actually tailored like a devotional to help any believer who wants to grow. For instance, right from January 1st, you can pick it. And it's a one-time devotional, unlike other devotionals where you have to buy it every year. No, this one you can use it year by year till maybe till eternity. Yeah.
And I also see the spiritual warfare.
Yeah.
Unveilings. Is that?
Yes, understanding spiritual warfare.
Spiritual.
Some of the books are also here.
Okay.
Yeah, understanding spiritual warfare. Spiritual warfare in this book, I try to decipher what warfare is really about. People think it's just about clapping your hands, come out, break. No, it's not it. Spiritual warfare is in 3 dimensions. Number 1, the flesh. You need to be able to deal with your flesh. For instance, if I want to go to the battle with the devil, nothing of the devil must be in me. So if I'm struggling with fornication, lying, stealing, anger, then I go and I start fighting the devil. Now, I may be able to succeed, but I will get what we call retaliation. The devil will retaliate. The reason why he will retaliate is because you are not really grounded. You are just you've gone to war and you're not prepared for that war. So spiritual warfare is about dealing with your flesh first. What the challenges you have in your flesh, you have to deal with them. If it's fornication, lying, deal with them. Then after you deal with it, then now you have to deal with the world system, the systems of the world, the times we spend on our phone, the television, the systems of this world. You don't. It shouldn't control you. Then when you're able to deal with these 2 dimensions, before you can go and confront the devil. But the problem about warfare is that at times, a lot of people don't know that. So they go straight, they start binding, losing. Then that's why people complain that the more I pray, the more I'm having challenges. The more I pray, the more this problem is coming. It's because you've not dealt with the issues of the flesh. You've not dealt with the issues of the world. Yes.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen that are watching us from wherever you are, we have giveaways. So don't leave just here. We're going to have a lot to talk about. We have giveaways. Wherever you are, don't worry at all. We will get to you. Giveaways, we are going to ensure that you are excited at the end of the day watching this Zoom program. And then again, I see this one also. Oh no, I think we've seen this one already. Operational manual for church workers and leaders.
We've not dealt with it. This one has to do with the departments. The one I was talking about, the systems that you should put in place. You are starting a church. There must be systems in place in every department. So this one handled about 12 departments in the church, right from the children's department, children's department, choir, protocol, how to start it, the vision, how to go about it. Then the account department, all the departments within the church, all the department, traffic control, all the department. What do you do? How do you start it? How do you establish? How do you make sure that you sustain it to work?
And then we have the power of forgiveness.
Yes.
Let go and let God.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because one of the things I was sharing with Mommy the last time, do you know that sometimes you can't sleep is because of unforgiveness? Sometimes you are stressed, you cannot sleep. Sometimes hypertension, most of the sicknesses that makes people die suddenly and everything is because of unforgiveness.
Wow.
Yes. So it has cancer and all this are connected to unforgiveness. So once you can deal with unforgiveness, some of these sicknesses and whatever, it will just. The problem, you see, one thing we need to understand about this book. Forgiveness. You see, people think that you can forgive and forget. People say, "Oh, forgive and forget." Well, forgiveness is not that. Okay, maybe you stole my money.
That's right.
I can forgive you and still put you in jail. It doesn't mean that I'm not forgiving you. You stole money. The law says you've been corrupt. So I can arrest you. I can take you to court. The court system will deal with you. But in my heart, I'm forgiving you.
Even though you are still in for life.
I'm forgiving you.
Wow. The more reason why we need these books in our homes and all that. We have this one too, Horns of Destiny, that's discovered to recover.
Yeah, this one has to do with my core ministry, which
Wow.
the deliverance ministry. Yeah, every home has horns. They have horns. So this book helps you to identify the horns, the horns that are fighting Judah, that is making Judah not to be able to lift up his head. You see, one thing about warfare is that you can only discover in order to recover. And you cannot fight what you don't know. I tell people, age does not determine your success.
Of course.
What determines your success is your ability to break your cage. And until you break your cage, you cannot receive your wage.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And the horns help, this book, The Horns, helps you to discover the worm that is eating the vegetable. You understand? Because the Bible said, these horns are for Judah, and nobody in Judah could lift up his head.
Wow.
So why is it that in your family there's no prominent person, nothing is working? Read this book.
Wow. Indeed, the man of God is talking. You can actually feel the aura here. You can actually feel that the man of God is speaking. So you need the more reason why you need these books in your houses. And then we will come to mommy. Like I said, icing on the cake. I don't know, unless otherwise you have not spoken about any of the books, because the last time I checked, the manuals,
I think
Leaders Manual 1 and 2.
Yes. Basically, those ones are ministry ones for pastors, leaders. Because the Manual 1, 2 deals with the pillars of the church, then also what pastors can use in doing officiating, maybe funeral, marriage, baby ceremonies, and then the other manual also deals with the 3 pillars: how to start a women's ministry, how to start a youth ministry, how to start a men's ministry.
So the young pastors, I mean, this is what you actually need them. And then, you know, I find these books, there are many.
Yes.
I believe they are capital intensive.
Yeah.
I know it's the grace of God. But will you tell me the struggles you went through?
Yes, that's why I'm saying that some of them were books written 5 years ago, but at the time, the Lord did not permit me to release them, because I believe that if God wants you to release them, He will provide the resource. So at the time, he felt it was not yet time to release them. So that was why I couldn't release them. But now He has created the opportunity.
We thank God for the opportunities that He's created. Mommy, we are on you now. Rapture. Oops. Sorry about that. Rapture. Wow. He said, revelation of the things to come. Wow. This is a rapture. The icing on the cake. Mommy, let's say a bit about rapture.
Okay, thank you. The revelation I had, I think when I pray, I have time to pray and sometimes. So when I prayed and I sleep, then God began to reveal things to me. When the Lord revealed to me, then I share it with my husband, and he said, wow. So that is what has been encouraging me, that I should put it in a book way. Wow. That is how it came about. But it's very powerful book.
Wow.
It's very powerful book.
Wow.
They talk about the coming of Christ and what will happen that day. Yeah. Some of the things that the Lord showed me is very terrible. Yeah, it's very, very terrible. And if a believer and you are watching me, don't give up in your faith.
That's right.
Believe that Jesus will come again. The second coming of Christ, by all means,
That's right.
the Lord will come again. Because what the Lord revealed to me is terrible. And that day, if you mix it,
and Mommy, I'm not going to give you the chance to talk about it. You need to, grab a copy and then get it for yourself. Just read it and then know how terrible the things she's talking about are.
The day she shared with me before we put it, I had goosebumps all over. I had goosebumps because the people you thought they had made it, so they did not make it. You understand? So if you get the book and you read it, it will give you an idea of some of the people who didn't make it.
Wow.
See whether if you yourself are also ready to make it.
Wow.
You know, yeah.
Wow. I believe we can give the audience to people to ask if they have any questions that they want to ask with regards to the book, lunch and everything. I mean, in the normal times, we would have gone around giving microphones to people to ask questions as to how they feel and everything about it, maybe the questions they think about the book. I mean, by the glory of God, we have Zoom, so I believe we can ask questions. If you have any question with regards to the books, we'll be later to receive them, and then they are here to answer you and all that. So I'll go to the producer to see if there's anybody who wants to ask questions in that regard. No one. Okay. So if nobody has any question, then I think we need to go on with the business. We are here to launch a book, and it's very important. We need to launch it. So we are starting. In fact, as the moderator of this program, I'm going to have a fixed price for this launch. There are 13 books, and I believe a lot of people are watching in every part of the world, and people will want to pledge, and we will do everything possible to make sure their books are brought to them wherever they are. So we are starting with the 13 books, all together. I mean, barely 3 days ago we had the Black Friday. So, so we are actually going to have the Black Friday today too on the 13th. If you have $1,000, we are going to make sure that we give you all the 13 books. You're going to have it for yourself. And one good thing about this launch that we're doing is that all the proceeds are actually channeled to charity home in Ghana. So it's actually a worthy cause. We're doing this to help those who need it. It's not about us, it's about those who need it. So it's basically for charity work. So if wherever you are watching us, 13 books, $1,000 will be elated, and then we will take you, and then wherever you are, we'll ensure that you get them. I believe you're watching. Reverend, please, do you have anything to say?
Yeah, they can call the numbers.
Yes. I think I have the numbers
yes.
here. I'm sorry about that. We have the numbers here, so if you want to get access to us, you can call these numbers. I have the first number is actually, please write it down, +971. That's the country code, UAE code, +971 55 451 7229. +9, I repeat, +971 55 451 7229. For the last time, +971 55 451 7229. We have another number as well, +971 566 78 4817. I repeat, +971 566, sorry, let me go over again. +971 566 78 4817. I believe the numbers will be scrolling down the screen, so you'll be seeing them. Let me go over for the last time. The first one, +971 55 45 17 229. And the next one, +971 566 78 4817. Thank you very much. So we're still on the questions and the answers. Like I said, we have done the first bidding. That's $1,000 for the 13 books. Wherever you are, when you call the numbers, we'll get to you, we'll receive your calls, we'll get to you, we'll bring you the books wherever you are. Let's do this worthy cause to help somebody who needs that help. And then we keep going on. Reverend, Black Friday, right?
Yeah.
So, 5 books. The 7 was for 1,000. So 5, if we should go for 500, I think that's better. We are doing discounting. So 5 for $500. So the numbers that are on your screen, you can actually call. I will repeat them again. You can actually call, and then we will get to you, and then send the books as soon as practicable. Your books will get to you. $500 for 5 books. Earlier on, I said
13 for
13
for
for
1,000.
1,000,
Yeah.
and then we 500 for 5. All right. So whichever category that you fall in, you call the numbers, and then we'll respond to your call. For 3 books, for $300. These books, you know, it's not about the money.
Yeah.
It's about the content of the books. The things that are in the book is what matters most. So please, whichever category that you fall, you can actually, when you call the particular books, from there I'm going to mention all the names of the books again, and then the particular one that you want, because we've delved into the books one after the other. So the particular one that you want, you tell us, and then we'll make sure you get it, we'll respond to you. 5 books for $500. Now we've moved on to 3 books. 3 books, Rev, should we give it to them for 300?
Yeah, it's not a lot.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, he's giving the go ahead. 3 books for $300. 3 books for $300. As a matter of fact, if you have $100, you can pick a book. We are talking about dollars, yes. Yes, because we want to do whatever charity work that we want to do it big. We want people to be excited about the charity work that we are doing. So if you have $100, you can pick one. I'm going to go over the numbers again.
We're going to autograph them for autograph.
Exactly that. So all the books are actually going to be autographed. Send them to you, and then your giveaways included. But the giveaways are actually limited to those who are able to buy a greater chunk of them, like 5, 6 to the 13 books. Yes. So if you want a book, you can get it for $100. We are doing this for uplifting God's work. So if you want one, make sure the numbers that are rolling on the screen, try as much as possible, you will call, and then you will get one for yourself. Tell us exactly which book you want, and then definitely we will get the books for you. I'm going to start with the names of the books, actually. I have with me the Rapture, written by Mama Sylvia, Gaba. Rapture, the icing on the cake, that's how I call it. The icing on the cake.
If you read this book, you will repent by fire, by thunder.
Oh my God. The more reason why you need this book. You need it. Don't worry. A lot of people in Ghana are saying, why is Daddy doing this to us? $100, it's too much, do this. Okay, those in Ghana. I mean, this is limited to Ghana. Get us 200 Ghana cedis, you get one. Those in Ghana. Daddy, what do you say about that? Because we have to be fair to them as well. Some people are actually itching to get the book, but they are probably thinking about their pockets too. We understand. Those in Ghana, yes, please call the numbers that are rolling on the screen, and definitely we'll ensure that you get one. So like I said, this is the Rapture. The Rapture. You need it. And then we have the spiritual warfare. Understanding spiritual warfare. It is here. Understanding spiritual warfare. So please tell us exactly the book that you want, and definitely you will get them courier to you. This is the power of forgiveness. He said, let go and let God. The power of forgiveness. He says something. At times you feel hypertensive. At times back pain, certain needless diseases. You don't understand why these things are happening to you. If you read this book, you will understand why certain things happen to you. If you are not able to forgive, what have you done? The power of forgiveness. This is it. The power of forgiveness. We have the operational manual for church workers. Operational manual for church workers and leaders. I think every young pastor needs this book. You need it. Please try as much as possible to get this book. Wherever, whichever category that you find yourself, from $1,000 if you want all, $500 you want 5, $300 if you want 3, $100 if you want 1, whichever one that you want. And our Ghanaian people too, if you have 200 Ghana cedis, would ensure you get one. Whichever that you want, please contact the numbers like I'm saying, and then you will get them. We move on to church administration and management system. Rev, did you talk about this one? I think you didn't talk about
No, I didn't talk about this one.
About this one.
Yes, this one has to do with also, even though the operational talks about the departments, this one talks right from the books of accounting that you're supposed to use, budgeting, how to audit church accounts, how to be able to administrate. If you are even recruiting an administrator, what is his job description and the things that is supposed to do, the volunteer workers who work at the church, who is a secretary, who must be a PA, what's their work, what are their functions.
Wow.
You understand the books that they are supposed to use in the, when it comes to maybe church bars, how do they log in, how to efficiently manage the resources of the church.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
That's what the church administration is about. Yeah.
I believe all pastors in Ghana need this book because it's becoming a one-man church of a sort. So I believe most of them need this book to be able to transform their churches into a mega one. So, like I said, you need it. Church administration and management system. Grab your copy, please. Grab your
Because
copy.
as I said, grace is made available for everybody. Everybody has grace. God has made grace available for all of us. If you're a pastor, man of God, God has. What I'm trying to say is that those who have big churches in Ghana or any part of, they are not super special than you. What the distinction between they and you is because they put systems that are working for them. You understand? A good leader should be able to put systems in place that even when you sleep, you can sleep and things will still go on the way it ought to go on. That is all I'm saying. You understand?
Yeah.
Once you're a leader and you become paranoid and you always have to check on things because you can't trust anybody to do anything perfectly or good, then you have a problem with your system.
That's right.
It means that there are no systems in place. Let me give you like the work I do, for instance. There are systems in place. For instance, if you put systems in place, there are decisions that a pastor at a branch level cannot just take. He has to revert to HQ. He has to, you understand, per our work, you have to revert to HQ. You have to ask permission. You want to issue maybe a check or something. There are certain amounts that when it comes to impress, you cannot, when it comes to this one, you can, or whatever. The ones that you need to check with HQ, you have to check, there are budget. When all these systems are put in place, even the most difficult person can still work in that system. You understand? Because he knows that there are systems that work. You don't just come and you do anything and just, you understand? Because the truth of the matter is that being a pastor is very attractive. You understand? People respect. You see, one of the reasons why I joined the foreign ministry is to make a difference. When I joined the foreign ministry, I was a pastor. People told me, yeah, pastors, you can't survive. Because then when I joined the foreign ministry, one of the things I also learned was that a lot of people think pastors are dumb. You're like, oh, pastors, they are not intelligent. Pastors, what is a pastor doing here? In fact, my wife and I, she tells me to come to full-time quickly. But I said, we normally argue, and I tell her, I need to be an ambassador, at least to tell people that you can be a pastor and still succeed. Not because I want it, but to
prove a point.
To prove a point, to tell somebody that yes, you can be a pastor and still a senior pastor at that, and still, so it will be a motivation to other pastors. Pastors were not lazy.
Not at all.
See, I went to work today. I did so many things. Came back, even to set up this place. Like I tell you, I did it myself to set up and do everything quickly before my producers came in. Sometimes you sleep 2 a.m., 3 a.m. So sometimes I'm very perturbed when people say pastors are lazy, and sometimes somebody will call you around 11 a.m. and he's actually, oh, pastor, are you sleeping? You know, thinking that, oh, by 11 a.m. you are sleeping. That's why normally I don't even tell people what I do. Sometimes when people find out later, they're like, so how do you manage the two and all that? Pastors are not lazy. Yes, you may find some one or two couple ones who are lazy, but for some of us, we are not lazy.
That's right. That's right.
You understand? And so that perception about pastors is what actually made me write some of these books, so that to help, because grace is made abound.
Oh, these books you see,
And most of the
written
things,
by a lazy person.
most of the things I learned to moderator, I learned it through my work.
Whoa.
Yes, I learned it through my work, because when I joined the foreign ministry, I realized that systems are in place. It works. Charlie, no matter whether you're ambassador, you also have your boss. So you understand? There are systems put. So I sat down and I looked at the system. I said, no. If you look at the foreign ministry, it's just like ministry, where you have branches. And I said, why don't I, what I learned in the foreign ministry, why don't I bring it on board? Implement it, put those same systems in place. Those are the things I put in the book. You understand? So you see that we have bureaus, which are the department. It is working. There are systems in place. By every year they reshuffle. You can't say you will not. They reshuffle. You say you will not go. The minister cannot, or president cannot post you. You say you are not going. Because there are systems in place. Do you know what happens to you as an officer if the minister posts you? Maybe your dream is to go to America, they post you to Congo, and you say you will not go. Do you know the punishment? Tell me. You will stay at home for over 20 years.
Wow.
Do you realize nobody will mind you again? You see, because there are systems in place that are working. So I decided that what I've learned from the world, that's what I'm talking about. Sometimes we frustrate the grace of God. The grace, we who are children of God, we should do better. You understand? And I understand my work has really helped me. It has really broadened my mind. Because it has really helped me. And it's one of the reasons why I wrote some of these books.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. So we move on to the next book. We have Money, Sex, and Power. We talked about it.
Yeah.
So you need it. Some of the things that you need to do, it's the things that you don't need to do as far as your life is concerned. Sorry for interjecting, but before I forget, do you know that when you don't have money, you're very humble? Have you realized that most women, especially our wives, they say that we never fought with them when we didn't have money? I don't know if your wife has ever told so until you got that dream job or until you got money, you never fought them. You understand? So money is powerful. Money can even make the way you talk different, the way you walk different, the way you even eat different. You can get money, your taste in food will change. If you used to eat a bar and samolina, you say this time you don't want to eat a bar. You try junk food.
You want junk food. You want to prove to the world that me too now I have come into money. But you see, money, God created money, or God allowed money to exist, not for money to control you. But the reason why God brought money, so that when He puts money into your hand as a child of God, you will use that money to propagate the gospel.
Whoa.
Look at what these books are going to do in Ghana. They are going to charity. That's the essence of money. Money is not about you and how much you have. You see, there are people who have money. It's all about them, their children, and their family. Do you know that in our time today, when you are a giver and you support the kingdom, people think you're stupid. They think you don't know what to do with money. But that is not it. The real essence of money, for money to become a real servant for you, is when money doesn't determine your job or your happiness. Immediately you don't have money and you are sad, you are not happy, then it means that money has become your God. Money is actually for kingdom work and to support mankind. That's the essence of money.
Wow.
That's why God gives you money.
Wow.
Then sex. God created sex for the pleasure of husband and wife.
That's right.
You understand? To empower, to consummate their marriage, to whatever. Now, sex can also control. It's like an addiction. It's very powerful. That is why a woman can control a man. Because of sex. Delilah was able to convince Samson to tell him his deepest secret.
That's right.
You understand? So sex is very powerful. Very powerful. 5 minutes of pleasure, but you have no idea what it
You are
can do.
doomed for good.
Then you have power. You never know. You see, money also is an amplifier. You see a person, yes, a boss, yes, a boss. And suddenly the person gets money, the person becomes arrogant. Then you're like, this person
It's not the same person.
This is not the same person. No. The person was arrogant and proud already. Money only amplified what was inside him.
Oh my God.
It's like the microphones is amplifying our voice. Money amplifies who really you are and what is really inside you. And so your ability, no matter how God leads you, Jesus said, the world says that as a leader, people must serve you. But Jesus said, if anyone wants to be a leader, then he must first serve. If you want to lead, then you must serve others. If you are not ready to serve, then you are not a leader. Leadership is not about a title. It's not about power. And that's the problem we have in Africa. We are going to election. Everybody's fighting for power because that power is not to serve, but they think that that power will open doors and that power, people rather will serve you. But no, that is not what leadership is about. Leadership is about service. I am a pastor here. With all the exposures I've gotten, my boys will tell you when they're going for evangelism, I go with them. When I arrange it, as I'm telling you, the lunch, God is my witness. My daughter will tell you, I have to prepare this place myself. They were coming late, I have to do it myself. That is leadership. You don't wait and say, okay, I'm the leader, so I have to wait, then they come and do it. No, leadership is about service. That's right. You understand? It's about service. And one thing which is my weakness is that Evans will tell you, and my daughter will tell you, I will learn to do things on my own so much that I don't look to people to come and do it for me, because my daughter will tell me, I'll wake up early. If we have Friday service virtual, I've arranged the place myself, everything set up before she even comes to. You understand? It's about service. It's not about people serving you. And so your ability to, being a good steward of the money that, because whatever you have been given, money, sex, whatever, all the privileges you have been given, you will account for it.
Oh my God. That is it.
You will account for it. Yeah, you will account for it. Yeah.
Wow. So money, sex, and power. You heard it all. We don't need to delve deep. We don't need to scoop everything from the man of God for you. And other than that, why the need for you to buy the book? So there are lots inside you need to buy and read and then get it for yourself. So we move on to the next book, and the name is The Horns of Destiny. He said it. Yeah, The Horns of Destiny. It is here. The Horns of Destiny. You need it.
Every family has 4 homes.
Wow.
So long as so long as there is smoke coming from every home has 4 homes.
Wow.
Yes, every home. And your ability to discover these homes is what will determine your next level.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
May I be able to discover this one?
Every home has its homes.
Wow.
And they fight people in the home, the family. Yes, they fight them. I will not mention, when you read it, you will see the homes.
That's right. That's right. You don't need them.
Horns represent power.
Wow.
Yes, anytime you talk about horn, it represents power, it represents judgment. Because anytime the horn is being blown, it represents judgment. So every family has a horn. And your ability to be able to go to the next level is dependent on the horn that you deal with. Yeah.
Wow. Enough said about horns of destiny.
Yeah.
So I don't need to tell you. You know what to do.
Because you see, these horns I was mentioning, they fight destiny. Because your destiny is your destination when you are born. Your destiny, because you can never, everybody has a blueprint, which is your destination or your destiny. But for you to get to that destination, if you don't deal with these horns, you can never get to your destination. Yes, you can never. Every family has 4 horns you have to deal with. Yes, every family has 4 horns you have to deal with before you can move to the next level.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. I think I need this book. I need it. All right, and then we move on to operational manual for church workers and leaders. You've spoken about it.
Yeah, basically this one has to do with the church workers.
Church workers.
Departments and all that.
I mean, there are a lot of people in churches who think life is all about going to church on Sundays and then coming back home. I mean, as a church member, you need to belong to a department. You need to belong to a place. So this is actually for you. You are not just a member of a church. You are supposed to have something to do as far as the churches are concerned. So please get this, and then it's going to be your guide for life. That's
it's actually good for departmental heads in the church.
Oh.
From experience for 10 years or 15 years, people just run departments anyhow in the church. No. You have a main core vision of the church and the mission. With in between that, that's why I said my work helped me my work has really helped me to write some of these books. Let me tell you why. The foreign ministry has its own mission and vision. Within the foreign ministry's vision and mission, the missions that are established in all the countries carve their vision and mission out of it. And the terrain they are determines where. So in my book of church administration, for example, I went further to even help people who are in different terrain, the laws that work there. Because in the UAE, for instance, you can't do evangelism. You can't just meet anybody and say you're doing evangelism. You could have a 10-year jail term and all that. So if I get to a terrain, how do I survive? How do I go about things? If I'm in a Spanish country, how do I go about it? In America, how do I go about it? If I'm in London, how do I, so the systems are different. They're entirely different. You get what I'm saying? So this book helps, because if you're a leader of a church, and perhaps your pastor puts you in charge of protocol, there must be a vision of protocol. And what the core mandate of the protocol department, what is it for? And there must be accountability. You must come back and tell your senior pastor and the church board that based on protocol, these are the things we have achieved, A, B, C, D. But people are in the department, I think they are just in the department, they carry, no.
The more reason why they need.
You understand, people in the choir department, the choir leader, you must give him a vision. What is the vision of the choir? Or else by the end of the day, if there is no system in place to check the choir leader, people's loyalty rather goes to the choir, not to the church.
That's right.
Then that's where the problems start. The choir leader, because there are no systems in place, that is why choir leaders can take advantage and say, let me sleep with you. I will let you be the one to lead the song on Sunday. And it's happening in our churches. But if there are systems in place, the choir leader has power, but his power, that's what I'm saying, that will be our master. So your power, if you are harassing a choir member, the choir member, because there are systems, he knows that this is the next in command, this is the channel he can talk to. You understand? And so this tackled 12 departments and how to be able to start those departments and make the department work. 12 basic departments in the church.
Thought-provoking.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because even the children's department, they have to be segmented into 4 departments. For instance, the children's department, you can't put my son David. In some churches, they put the children
All together.
No.
That's right.
David, a child from 1 to 3, they must have their class. From 4 to 7, they have their class. From 8 to maybe this number. So by the time they get to 12, they are graduating into youth service.
That's right.
Which is another department. Or no, teen service. Then from teen service, when they graduate from teen service, then they move to youth service. Then from youth service, they move to main service.
Wow.
So it will become difficult for the child to leave church. The reason why many children are leaving church is because you don't put the proper systems in place. You understand? So the church is not. There are systems in place to the extent that if you put them in place, you can even check the teachers that are teaching. You take them for refresher courses. You run it just as you are running a school. They write report, terminal report, whatever. There are systems. So by the time you realize you are running a school, you think you're running a Sunday school, but you're running a real school.
Proper school. Modalities are put in place and all that. That's true. Wow. I've learned a lot today.
Yeah.
Wow. And then we move on to the next one, the Leaders Manual. The Leaders Manual.
Yeah, this one was what I was saying, that it comes with the code of conduct. Yes, I didn't talk about that one. It escaped me. The code of conduct. Every organization has a code of conduct.
Wow.
As a leader, do you know your code of conduct? You should know your code of conduct. As a leader, you can't go into a room of a single lady and say you are praying for the lady. You can't lay your hands on a lady's tummy and say you are praying for her. What are the code of conduct? As a pastor, what are the don'ts and do? Or as a leader, I shouldn't do? All these code of conduct are there. How do I relate with other pastors? How do I relate with my church members? You understand? Yeah. All these things are embedded in the book. Then the ceremonial aspect has to do with the ceremonies, wedding, child outdooring, and all that. And even the weddings, I was able to break it down that in an African setting, the different type of weddings, the candle weddings, the wine weddings, how in terms of the number of groom, how you want to, different type of weddings. So I put about 5 different weddings of how you can go about it. And I was able to tackle it right from how you start the foundation of the counseling, with the pastoral counseling will handle, through to the wedding period, what. I even help the couple out. The book even explained how, as a couple, if you want to do a cheap wedding, if you want to do an expensive wedding, I put it all there.
Wow.
It's up to you. You understand?
Wow.
The modalities and everything.
Wow. All I'll say is wow.
It's up to you.
Seriously. The wow factor is deep. Wow. We've heard it all. I mean, time is indeed fast spent, and I'm going to go over the auction again. We, like I said, the 13 books is going for $1,000, and we are actually using it for a wedding course, for a charity wedding.
It's not coming to me.
No,
not coming to my
not
wife.
at all. I mean, he's a diplomat for crying out loud. So I mean, if it's about money, he can relax. But he loves the work of God. So he thought of doing this and then helping those who need it more. The more reason why you have to help people who need it more to be able to get it. So if the 13 books actually going for $1,000, if you want 5, we'll give you for $500. Depending on whichever book you want, you tell us, you call the numbers are on the screen, I believe. You call the numbers on the screen and just call, please call, and then definitely you will get them. We're extremely excited. Rev, please, do you have anything to say before we conclude, please?
Yeah,
Yes.
To just bring clarity, as I said, we are, the books, the proceeds, everything for the lunch is going into a charitable project which is going on in Ghana currently. We are building over 2,500 seater church by God's grace.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a cathedral actually, and all the proceeds are going there.
Wow.
You know. Then also we have the Gaba Scholarship Foundation also, which some of these proceeds will also be going there and all that. But the most important thing is that you need, if Gaba Chris Ministry has ever been a blessing to you, you understand? Sometimes you say, oh, I love this man of God, I love his preaching, I love, this is the time. Love is not just words, it's about
demonstration,
action, demonstrating. And so this is the best time you can demonstrate it. Because somebody was asking if the books are on Amazon. The books are all on Amazon, but they were going to premiere after the lunch. So you can only get it after the lunch. That will be about 2 days after the lunch, because Amazon also wants us to land the book and make sure that the book is well launched before it is now online for people who want to buy and all that. So we want to encourage you. You are not buying it for us, that the proceeds are going to our pocket. Even though we need money though, but it's going to God's work. You know, we going to God's work. And so we want to encourage others to get the book.
And then again, if you want the hard copy, do we have some in Ghana or any other countries?
Any part of the world that you have, we have systems in place to send you the book anywhere you are.
That's right.
Yes, so all you need to do is to call the numbers that you mentioned. Once you call, people are picking the calls.
They are on the screen.
They will know where you are calling from and all that. They will take note. Within a week or 2, we get the books to you. Yeah, wherever you are, autographed by myself and my wife. And I want to encourage you because, as I said, most of the books some of them were born out of pain. I must tell you, some were born out of pain, the power of forgiveness. The power of forgiveness and money, sex, and power, I wrote it at the time where I was going through a lot. Yes, I was going through a lot. Yeah. I wrote it at a point where I was going through a lot. Yeah. Some of the books were born out of pain. There were other books like the leadership books I wrote, very small churches. They are reflection of my past experiences in the ministry and the things I've learned and all that. The icing on the cake, apart from Mommy's one, which one book I love, is the church and nation building. Because one of the things I also encourage others to do is that the church must be involved in nation building. It means that we must encourage more Christians to go into politics.
Yeah.
You understand? Sometimes people say, politics. You know, because of the rapture things, we talk about politics, right? That's like you understand? And we must begin to encourage Christians to go into politics. We must encourage them to be involved in issues of governance. Remember, the Bible says that when the wicked rule, the people are not happy. As when the righteous rule, the people are happy. Your vote is important. If you don't vote and you don't get yourself in issues of politics is everywhere. Politics in church, politics is everywhere. So if you say you are not going to do politics, you eventually do politics in church or at the workplace. Everywhere there's politics. But you see, we must empower Christians. We must tell Christians. Because the people in parliament and all that, most of them are Christians. You understand? So Christians must be encouraged to go into politics, to go into issues that concerns their nation. You understand? And that is how we can get the church in nation building. You understand? Because if you look at the history of the church has played very significant role in communities, providing schools, boreholes, and other things. I went to a mission school. It was a church that building, same as went to marriage. You understand? The church, you can't take the church out. So we moved to, the church must move from not just in terms of infrastructure development, but we must now begin to work on the minds of the people in the church. You understand? Because we are the church. That's what I'm saying. We carry grace, so we should be able to go out there and make a lot of difference.
Wow.
Or else we are frustrating the grace of God. I don't know whether you understand what I'm saying. Because you carry the Spirit of God. Remember Daniel. The Bible said he had the Spirit of excellence. You understand what the Spirit of excellence. So I believe that every child of God must be involved in nation building.
Wow.
There must be Christians who must go to parliament. There must be Christians who must be ministers of states, ambassadors, genuine Christians. Because let me tell you, if you have 10 Christians who fear God genuinely, and they are in government position, corruption will cease. The reason why we are battling with corruption, apart from the systems that are not in place, is because people don't really fear God.
That's right. That's right.
They don't fear God. You understand? So we are not able to deal with the issue of corruption, but we don't fear God. But if we really fear God, corruption should be an issue of the past.
Yes, that's true. That's true. So hence this book, I mean, African church and nation building. So you wrote this book based on African setup, the African person.
Yes, because of the things I saw, even in Ghana, on the social media, what is happening. You see, I will not say that we've gotten it totally wrong. Some have gotten it correct. You understand? Some too. That's why I'm saying that this book is based on the UAE model of what I learned here. Because as I said, the process to register a church here is not that easy at all. Do you know, let me just give you a little instance. For instance, you need to go to the CDC. After the CDC, you go to the churches for vetting, for the church to even say they are accepting you in the first place. Then before you even start the requirements. You understand? So it is so crucial that if we emulate some of the things from here, you can't just be a pastor and say, you can talk anyhow. No. Everything you do is going to be vetted and be sure that you are giving the right content to the people. Yeah.
Wow.
And the people are fed well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, like Mommy always puts icing on the cake. I think, Mommy, you would still have to put icing on the cake. Your final words to people who are watching you and all.
Okay. I want to urge everyone to get the book
Yeah.
and read it, especially upcoming pastors and wives. I would advise you to get the book and read it, and it will help you a lot. It will help you yourself, the church, and at home also. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
All sons and daughters must get the book.
Yeah. Like
Worldwide, all sons, daughters, associates must make sure they get a copy of the book.
Reverend and Reverend Mrs. Gaba, we thank you so much for this book lunch. It's indeed a blessing. I've actually learned a lot today. And like I said, the numbers keep rolling on the screen. Try as much as possible to call. Somebody's going to talk to you. Try as much as possible to get one. If not all, try and get one, the one you prefer, and then read it to help you grow in your spiritual life. Thank you very much for being a part of this wonderful book lunch. God bless you. Yes. We didn't even start by prayer because
This came to you.
yes, it did. So, Reverend, put us in that prayerful mood.
Okay, can we share the prayer? Father, in the mighty name of Jesus, we thank you for a successful book launch. We thank you for those who have partook and decided to be part of the book launch. I pray that you bless them, you open doors for them. I pray that they will not lack anything that is good. As they support, may you open doors for them. I pray that you will bless them in whatever they do. In Jesus' name. Amen. I don't know, but I want to make a special offer to those in the UAE.
That's right.
If you have 100 dirhams, you can get a copy of the book. 100 dirhams, you can also get a copy.
No, I think it has to be mandatory for
Yes.
all the people,
All the church members.
in the UAE. Please, if you're watching, we need to see it. We need to see it if everything calms down, basically. Yeah, please try as much as possible to get one. Like he said, he's been very generous. 100 dirham. 100 dirham. So please, all church members in the UAE, try as much as possible to get one. Thank you very much. Please make a date with us next week for the service. God bless you. Let's keep the love of God alive. Thank you very much. God bless you.